And it was to remember, because our forefathers said, let's put all the prophetic books together so that at some point in the future, when Yah starts to pour his spirit out again, you follow me? As it says in Hosea at the top of chapter 6, after 2 days or 2,000 years, all right, he will pour his spirit out, and our descendants will have this book that they can come back to, okay, and remember all the things that have taken place upon us and upon Jerusalem, and in regards to Yah, okay, and what Yah has done for us as a people, why he created us, why he raised us up, and that was to be a nation of holy priests ministering to him specifically, okay, and through the children of Israel, he would reveal himself to the people of the earth and would give direction through the children of Israel to the people of the earth. So they compiled this book that was called and is called the Book of Remembrance, the so-called Old Testament today. All right? And this was again in the latter part of the 5th century BCE. Now, in Malachi chapter 4, Yah says he's signing off. And he said, remember the law that I gave to you by the hand of my servant Moses with the statutes and the judgments. Okay? Remember that. All right? Because he would, you understand, as he said at the bottom of chapter 3, he would make up his jewels at this time, in this last days, before the day that would come that would burn like an oven. Okay? Fire, nuclear. Okay? And it's approaching. All right? And he said that he would raise his people up before this time. All the ones he would pour his spirit on children of Israel. Chapter 44 Isaiah, we would start to pop up like willows by the water courses. If anybody knows about a willow, when willows are not planted, okay, they pop up wherever it's standing water. In this case, symbolism, water is the spirit of Yah. He's pouring it out. And it says in chapter 44 Isaiah, it would become like floods upon the dry ground. And that's why you see many of us popping up more and more and more and more. And Yah is pouring his spirit out. And he's pouring his spirit out now not only on the children of Israel, but on everything living to be in submission to his will. Now, as it says there in chapter 4, before the coming of the great and dreadful day that shall burn like an oven, and he would turn the heart of the children back to him, and his heart back to the children. And he would do this through the entity that represent El-Iyah. El-Iyah. In other words, not the original El-Iyah over in Kings, okay? Chapter 1, 1 Kings chapter 18, but the entity that would do the same thing that El-Iyah did back then. And that was to repair the breach. Isaiah chapter 58, okay? Stand in the breach and turn the people, direct them to Yah. And direct and pray to Yah to have mercy upon the children of Israel and any people of the earth that sought peace, truth, righteousness, salvation from this demonic satanic system that overspreads the earth. Anybody that seeks the true and living creator, which is Yah of hosts. Now, when you go into this time period that succeeded this, when Yah signed off, like I just said in 11:14 Daniel, okay, this is during the Greek kingdom, which came about with Alexander the Great, 332 BCE. Okay, so we're talking now what, about 100 years later, after Nehemiah's governorship, after Malachi, the last prophet of Yah, okay, till today. All right, 100 years later. Now, you got to take into effect, like I say to people who call Yah righteousness, you can't hang your hat on one verse, one chapter, one book. You have to take the whole book, Genesis through Malachi, into account. And once you do that, you will see that things have to be, that were prophesied, they have to be in continuity. Okay? If it's not in continuity throughout the book, then there's a red flag. Now, in the book of Esther, you will see that chapter 3, Haman the Amalekite and the Amalekites that were complicit with him came up with a device, okay, you know, a move to totally exterminate the children of Israel. you will see that that was nullified. Yah nullified that through Mordecai and Esther. Okay, and it was turned back on the children of Esau, the descendants of Esau. Okay, as it says at the bottom of chapter 8, Esther, many people became, it's going to say Jews, we know that's an implant. That word wasn't even in existence then. Okay, so what it initially said was many people became Israelites. Nobody had more reason to say that they were an Israelite than the descendants of Esau, because the death knell was hanging over their head. All right, so now with that, you have to understand that the descendants of Esau, okay, they were dark complected, as was the children of Israel. Okay, they probably discerned themselves the differentiation from dress, okay, and word of mouth. But when the death knell fell upon the descendants of Esau, they had to flee Media-Persia. Okay, and where did they go? They fled over, the ones who were able to do so, which you know your aristocratic ones, you know, ones that were monetarily capable, okay, economically capable. They fled over to the enemy of the Medes and the Persians. And who was that? Grecia, okay, which is talked about in Daniel chapter 10. When you read Daniel chapter 10, the angel that was sent to Daniel told him what? There's 3 kings yet that's going to rise up in Media-Persia. And he says, and the 4th shall be richer than them all. And that 4th one was who? Xerxes or Ahasuerus, the king of Esther's day. And he was to do what? Stir up the whole realm of Media-Persia against the realm of Grecia. Okay? And that's, you understand, where you get the 300 Spartans. You understand the Battle of Thermopylae. And when you get time, you can go into that and check that out. And we've talked about it in previous shows. Now, when this happened, the Medes and the Persians were stalemated. Xerxes or Ahasuerus, the king of Esther's day, when the book of Esther opens up, he had been stalemated, he was depressed, and that's where it opens up. They had had a big feast trying to cheer him up. Okay? You can go in there and read that story and see how Esther, because of Vashti's rebellion against the king's command, how his counselors told him, you know, you can't allow this because we'll have a rebellion amongst all our wives. So he dethroned Vashti from queen and brought on, and Yah had Esther picked. Nobody knew her heritage. But the point being is that that's how, you understand, Yah moved to keep this annihilation of the children of Israel from taking place at the hands of the Amalekites. So now when the Amalekites fled and went over to the Grecians, when the Grecians defeated the Medes and the Persians in 332 under Alexander the Great horn in the head of the he-goat, now you follow, the descendants of Esau are with the Grecians. Okay? And again, when they came with Alexander, when you go in, we've touched on this before. Alexander would not attack the children of Israel that were in the land. He would not lay any tribute on the children of Israel in the land. So therefore, you know, the descendants of Esau, they were upset at this, but they couldn't say anything because Alexander was the great king. But you know, Esau was plotting to get rid of Alexander. Now, in these schools, these educational systems, okay, that are put in place to control and manipulate and program one's minds, not only the children of Israel, but Gentiles as well and anybody else. They teach in these schools and have been teaching that Alexander died of a fever. We know now that's a lie. We've spoken on that before. Alexander was murdered, and that is the prophecy, is it not? That when the great horn reached the extent of his power, he would be broken. So therefore, somebody had to break him. And he was poisoned. Who poisoned him? The descendants of Esau, who were aligned with Ptolemy's soldier, because they'd seen Ptolemy, that he was jealous of Alexander. He wanted to be Alexander. And because you got to understand, when you read Obadiah, you understand, and when you read that 47th chapter of Isaiah, which is talking about the Illuminati Edomite who set up the door to Babylon, the United States of America, Yah said what? In 47 Isaiah, thy wisdom and knowledge has perverted thee. Over in Obadiah, that one chapter, it says that Yah was going to take the wisdom and understanding that he had given Esau out of Esau in these latter days. He was going to take it from him. Okay? And that's where we are. That's what we're witnessing today.